"How do I know?" replied Danglars. "Gone, as every prudent man ought to be, to look after his own affairs, most likely. Never mind where he is. Let you and I go and see what is to be done for our poor friends." During this conversation, Dante, after having exchanged a cheerful shake of the hand with all of his sympathizing friends, had surrendered himself to the officer sent to arrest him, merely saying, "Make yourselves quite easy, my good fellows. There is some little mistake to clear up, that is all. Depend upon it. And very likely I may not have to go as far as the prison to effect that." "Oh, to be sure," responded Danglars, who had now approached the group. "Nothing more than a mistake, I feel quite certain." Dante descended the staircase, preceded by the magistrate and followed by the soldiers. A carriage awaited him at the door. He got in, followed by 2 soldiers and the magistrate, and the vehicle drove off toward Marseilles. Let's just pump the brakes for a moment here. We're taking really, really tiny morsels of the story, and I feel like we're at risk of maybe losing the thread a little bit. So I just want to I want to just stop and examine for a moment. This letter that is at the heart of this Inquisition, right? Not the letter that Danglars wrote that Fernand dropped off to the authorities, but the letter that Dante is taking to Paris to drop off for Captain Leclerc. That letter. Does Dante know what's in it? That's the question we keep asking. Okay. If he did and knew it was treacherous, I think he'd be acting a little bit differently here, wouldn't he? He'd be maybe a little more nervous or a little more defensive, ready to defend himself against these accusations, maybe. If he didn't know what's in it, he wouldn't know whether there was trouble or not. And I think the way he's acting here is indication that he does not know what's in this letter. But, okay, so there's that. Now, let's take even one more step back and go, if he doesn't know what's in the letter, and the letter turned out to be nothing, then we're fine. And we don't have a story, and they get married and happily ever after, chapter 6. But if he doesn't know what's in it, and it turned out to be something, then how can Dante explain that situation? Well, ignorance of what Captain Leclerc is making him deliver to Paris, right? This kind of I'm not intruding on that I have nothing to do with the contents of the letter, only the delivery of it. Don't shoot the messenger. Okay, but let's turn the angle a little bit and look at Danglars. As we covered last chapter, Danglars has to know what's in this letter, right? I mean, in order to cause all of this with the surety of his conviction. So I think we can assume it has some sort of Napoleonic contents. Otherwise, why would Danglars go through this much trouble not having the assurance that doing so would make Dante go away? So then, okay, this is starting to make sense to me now. The question now is, for me, is Danglars the one that has Napoleonic information that he's transporting, or did he invent it maybe? And did he swap out the letter that Dante has like he did with Fernand? I think he's crafty enough to have swapped out Dante's letter with one of his own. How does he know what's in this letter, though? That's what I want to know. Okay, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. We're, even though we are 2 months into this show, we are still only 61 pages into a 1,400 page book. So, we have 1,400 pages left to go. I'm sure I will get answers. I'm just chopping at the bit to get some understanding. Okay, that's all I'm going to cover for today. I think we've got some interesting questions to track as we move forward through the rest of Chapter 5. I'll see you here tomorrow for the continuation of The Count of Monte Cristo. Okay, bye! The Countdown of Monte Cristo is part of the Gruntwork Podcast Network. This show is produced, edited, and hosted by Landon Solano. The original text of The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexander Dumas. Theme song by Magic Solo. If you want to support the show and others like it, visit patreon.com/gruntworkpod. Thank you for listening. See you tomorrow.